children are your seed, meaning your children are you, reincarnated, your ancestors, each and every one of them from your lineage. You yourself, divided from your mother and father. See, you're not just one person, you're a trinity. You're your mother, you're your father, and you're the combination of those two energies. So you're your own unique signature, and you're you, and no one can take that away from you. And that compromise, that spiritual compromise, which manifests in the physical, the 3D world, it's heavier than we realize, and it's even hard to put into words. But I'm gonna do the best I can here with the knowledge that I've been blessed with, just to share. So I just made this video to like really touch on the importance of children, how they're treated in this matrix, how they're viewed as in this matrix, and how they can uplift themselves given the chaotic situation that they've been placed in. So with that being said, back on topic to what children actually are. So these are your ancestors. You need to understand that when you make the promise, because it's a promise, it's a contract, and that's what marriage is. Marriage is a union, it's a contract. And that's why if you don't perform certain rituals within marriage in the 3D on paper, you're liable to pay a lot of money. And that's why a lot of people stay away from marriage, because they realize, yo, it's more than just saying you're married. It's more than just, this ritual and this document, this piece of paper. I'm obligated to perform certain duties in all facets of life, even as a human. Like, the best way I can put it is like, you're not obligated. There's a promise, there's a contract that was made on a spiritual level to where you can manifest anything, literally everything. You can manifest your greatest desires, your greatest wishes, and that of others to enhance yourself and others. But it's like, you're still obligated to perform under certain jurisdictions. That's why you're granted this vessel. You feel me? The body is a vessel. And because of the contract that you made, every day that you inhabit this vessel, there's a trade-off, there's a payoff of energy, a transmutation of energy. That's why I consider myself, although I don't, but a shapeshifter in that regard, because it's like, because of this contract, depending on what minerals I ingest or what minerals I lack, then my body is gonna either appreciate or depreciate in value based on that. So it's like, if I want certain conditions and certain situations for myself, then I would have to honor that contract that I have physically in the flesh with this great creation. You feel me? And that's why I am who I am, and I have my herbs, and I take care of my herbs, and I do what I do, and I educate people as much as I can on holistic health and wellness, and how to make sure that you can put yourself and your children in a position where they can thrive, and I mean truly thrive. I don't mean like be a slave for somebody else or for some corporation that's amassed more money than you right now, like on a serious level, because that's what it is. Money, really, currency, is really backed off of your sweat. Yeah, it's backed off of a few things too. Like, if you really paid attention to this matrix and what's been going on, you'll see that there are various organizations and shadow groups. One of them more commonly being the government. I just love throwing them under the bus, because it's like, at this present moment, with everything that's going on, especially in the United States, it's pretty clear and obvious and transparent, like, who these people are and what their agenda is. So I'm not even going to speak on that. I want to stay on topic, because this is really for the future. I haven't made a video in a while, but I want to take my time and explain what I'm doing right now, and how important it is for our future generations that we know what we're doing on a conscious level. So I want to speak to the parents real quick. Me being a child, I don't have any kids, so you can take what I'm saying, however you do. But based on everything I said, you got to realize that you're liable to your children's and to your children's future because you consciously decided to make that agreement. I don't care if you listen, man, and I want to keep it PC, but I don't care if you nutted in your shorty on accident. There are no accidents. You gotta take accountability and responsibility for what you do, man. Especially your sex magic, cause that's where the real money is. That's worth a lot. You feel me? Your sexual energy, your sex. That's where your real money lies. How how well you're able to transmute your will to manifest what you want, really, because it's all about what you want. So you having kids is a contract that says, I wanted this. I want a lineage so that I can pass through and reincarnate, so that my blood, my DNA can be seeded and shared among this realm. So when you have kids, you tether yourself to the realm on a spiritual level to where it's like now this is your lineage. This is your wealth because now you've taken all of that energy, all of that sexual energy, and you've converted it into an actual physical manifestation which can will and think independently, and grow and eventually have its own lineage. So it's like to the parents, really, what comes with that is like you gotta be you gotta have a lot of virtues. You gotta be patient. You gotta be understanding, and that's what parenthood is. Parenthood is a big learning, like it's a learning curve. It's a lesson because you teach the child, but the child teaches you. So with that being said, man, because of the um the environment that we've been conditioned to live in by these shadow groups that I just mentioned, it's like our children, our lineage, our wealth is seen as an asset, as commodity, as worth value, literally, and that's how generational debt, because that's real, is passed on. If you don't pay off your student loans, if you don't pay off your mortgage, then I don't know if you've noticed a lot of rappers, they do this. You might not notice it because it's like under the radar and nobody really cares, but that's what it means when you pass on your debt to your children. That's what this whole scam has been about. Because for one, they fooled us into thinking that this garden, this playground, this beautiful, you know, realm, this plane of existence it has a value to it, a physical monetary value. See, that was the first thing they had to do. They had to corrupt what it really is about. What what's the word? I don't want to say tribes because that's not a good word, but what community is really about what your lineage is really about where your real wealth lies. And they got to create a fiction so that they can trick you into working with them, so that way you become an agent for them, you know and you uphold their requirements to the fictitious contract that they've offered you and your seed. So how do I break this down now? With that being said, it's like I know how it is, and I just wish that my folks had told me earlier and given me more truth as to what the fuck's going on here in this world. You feel me? So it's like this fictitious world that they created. So then I had to figure that out on myself, and now I'm sharing the jewels with y'all. So parents, just from a child perspective, like just be honest with your children, man. Whether it be about anything, whatever age they might get to, and it's time to start learning about certain things, about responsibility, about personal finances, about sex, about life in general. Because of the contract that parents are under, they kind of have their time is very divided. So it's like they have to report to work every day, 6 7 days a week. hours on end away from their children, and the indoctrination camps or schools that you sign your children up for when you sign that birth certificate is gonna do that for you. Literally raising the system raises your children. And I don't care what you think. If you're absent for, let's say, an 8 to 3, let's say an 8 to 3. If you're absent for 6 hours of the day during your child's life, when that child is most receptive to learning, 6 hours of daylight gone. So really, yeah, let's stick with 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 3 hours of daylight with your children, and that's if you work at 8 to 3, which most people, especially in the U.S., don't even. Most people are doing more than that. So most people are working full time, and they're working fucking crazy hours a week, like over 40 hours a week. So, and all that is energy. All that is tied into your sex or your six, which is really just, it's your kundalini. So your sex is worth a lot in terms of energy, because this is how the currency is backed off. Is backed off your energy. Is backed off of us, the sweat of us. You know what I mean? And the blood of us. But I don't want to get too deep into that one, because that's that's another topic for another time that I gotta dedicate to properly. So it's like, and I can go on for so long about just this, about children and generational wealth and debt, and how you're meant to be treating your children, and how they can actually help get you out of debt. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'm gonna stay on topic. I don't want to, because I want to do this justice, because I don't own this knowledge. I was put onto this knowledge, and I have a contract to share it, and I'm honoring all contracts. Like, I don't take this for a game. Like, this spiritual shit to me is, it's not even spiritual. This is just me expressing as it is. Take it or leave it. So it's like, you know, your kids now have a lot on their shoulders, just generationally, in terms of trauma. Because eventually they're going to get to an age where they realize, like, my parents and everybody else only see me as an investment. You feel me? I only have an ascribed value to me. And that ascribed value determines my place in society. And that doesn't have to be true. Anything can be transmuted through your willpower. And if your children are strong enough on their own, then, they got it. It'll be all right. But it's like, you as a parent, you could have done much more for your children, and you can always do more for your children. The thing with children is, like, even when you don't see eye to eye, even when you want them, and I'm speaking specifically to parents who are, like, forceful and not really willing to compromise with their children, because that's really what it's all about. You want to raise your children so that they can be good enough on their own. You feel me? So it's like, you have an obligation to be willing to compromise and communicate with your children. If you're just going to be forceful and raise your children on licks, Caribbean term for punishment, beating, then all you're doing is you're just passing down trauma onto your child that your child is going to eventually have to pay off on their own. Because it's an energy exchange. Whether you hit your children or you yell at them, you curse at them, you curse them and I mean literally curse like hex. When you tell them all these things, you tell them they're useless, and you tell them that they're not worth shit, and you tell them all this hurtful shit, and then it's like, you're depreciating your own value, because this is your wealth that you consciously made a contract with this earth to distribute and see. So I don't want to go on for too long, but parents, man, just take accountability, take responsibility to the decisions, the actions that you yourself made. No one had a gun to your hand to tell you, hey, you need to have this kid. Nah, that was something that you chose consciously, And even if it was an accident, it was still a conscious accident. There's nowhere to run from the accountability. So that's how I view children. My children are my empire, if I even have children. You feel me? So yeah, man. And to all the kids who feel who are going through the generational debt, the trauma and all that shit, it's like just stay strong and your will get you through it. That doesn't mean you have to forgive, that doesn't mean you have to forget. But if you want my personal advice, work towards compromise, because that's what they should be doing and that's what we all should be doing. Because life itself is a compromise. You can't go nowhere in life by just trying to force shit your way. You feel me? It's a sharing experience. It's the you and I verse. You and I contracting and conversing. So, yeah, man. You guys have a wonderful one, man. Take care. Gang.